positional speed. So in that regard, I prefer her in this race. I'm going to be a little bit surprised if one of the two horses out of the Oaks doesn't win this race.
Okay.
You saw it differently.
Well,
We'll take a-
I saw it differently. I didn't change my picks. I thought about just putting Higher Truth on top after the scratch because she figures to work out a much better trip and be much
She's
closer
not really
than
that much
Fluffy
faster
Sock.
than Fluffy Socks.
Well,
We'll
she'll
take
be closer, won't she?
You never know. Around here, you have no way of knowing.
I would imagine
you-
Higher Truth's pocketed up third. 'Cause like
Once
you said,
again, you have no way of knowing.
Third draft is supposed to-
nobody's
third
pocketing.
draft is
Nobody's
supposed to-
pocketing up. I have
All
no
right.
idea how the race is going to be run.
All right.
Having said that, Fluffy Socks, I thought ran well. Talk about Fluffy Socks last race.
Isn't it? You know, it's amazing, Andy. She's run nine times, and she has improved on the on the buyer scale with every start. Some
Not every,
incremental there.
actually not every start, but okay.
Every start.
No.
There's been an improvement in every start.
Incorrect. But go ahead. Why don't we talk about this race?
Oh, there's
we'll
one.
talk
there.
about facts.
There's one there. Yeah, you're right. My mistake.
Why do you like her out of this race?
I liked her out of the last race because, well, I thought she was a little pace compromised, and now
She wasn't.
she's
The,
going
pace,
to
the
be
race
again.
actually totally collapsed. She actually wasn't pace compromised. She wasn't. The pace collapsed. It did. The pace
Okay,
collapsed.
all right. Went kind of slow for a California turf
The
race.
pace
for a
collapsed.
Okay.
She wasn't pace
Okay.
compromised.
Okay.
Next.
All right. Well, I thought like I said, I did believe that. I thought she was going to have a little bit more pace in here with Jordan's Leo around. She's up against it now a little bit.
I thought the
This
interesting.
would go from a lean for me. I liked her today.
I thought the
to
interesting.
probably using all three of them.
The interesting thing about her was that relative to the first two finishers in that race, she was losing much more ground all the way. She was 2 wide in the first turn, 3 in the backstretch, 3, 4 wide in the second turn. The other horses were pretty much saving ground. So the reality was that if you looked at it fairly, she may have run as well as anybody, certainly as well as the second horse. The winner's running in the QE2. I guess the question is how strong the race was, but on the other hand, she did run well in the Lake George to get second to technical analysis, so I think you have to respect that she's an improved horse. I agree with you. I thought with Jordan's Leo she was more dangerous. I'm just worried that she may, with that post and the way the race develops, she may just not get
Well,
the right
here's the other question, and we talk about this every day. What if the pace doesn't? What if our flash drive doesn't go, and they go 50 and change? And,
Well, no, wait a
and
second.
they're
No, wait a
bunched?
second. No, wait a second. Okay, let's stop. They're going to go 50 and change, regardless who goes.
Well, that's
forward.
ridiculous, isn't it? Why would you go 50 and change?
The pace is going to be slow in this race. I'm not sure.
Maybe
have
bunch
you
it.
been
Then
watching the
maybe
races here
if
over the
it
last few
bunches
years?
up, it helps her. I don't know.
You've watched the races here last.
I
year.
have.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Maybe bunching up helps her. I mean, the problem is more of her. More often than not, her better starts are when she does get
the
some
problem
pace.
is you're guessing on things that
Yeah,
there's absolutely no way that you can know what's going to happen. And I think if you look at them at a certain point, you have to kind of look at their abilities. And I think the 3 and 5 are the most have the most ability here, followed by Fluffy Socks, in my opinion. What's happened to Plum Ali? She was brutal. I know it was a pace held there last time.
I mean, they caught up. She didn't improve from her 2-year-old form.
But she
I don't
ran
know.
so much worse last time in her prior start. She didn't run that badly in some of those races. She just had ridiculous
You know,
trips.
I'm a big fan. Last time was the problem. Was for me was the most problematic race because you figured that maybe a little less ground was going to help her.
Saved
And
ground.
she
Jose
ran the
gave her a
worst.
good ride.
You could argue it was you could argue that her last race was the worst race of her career.
No, I couldn't agree more with you. It was certainly the most disappointing. She underperformed.
Oh, she was awful.
She frankly
5
isn't
to
a
2
horse
didn't
that's
run a
really
step.
underperformed during her career.
Yeah.
And that was the first time she badly underperformed. I don't know, but maybe today sometimes they come back and they bite.
But
after that.
isn't she another one where she's hurt by Jordan's Leo's departure as well?
I would put her more in the race. I think she's been hurt
Maybe.
by not being more in the races.
Maybe.
So maybe today's the day to.
Well, this is the kind of
maybe
day you
today's
can
the
experiment a little
and
bit.
At least
Yeah.
get her closer. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't do any worse, right? I mean, sometimes you just need to change things up. Race number 7. Well, we knew that Road to Success was coming out because he's running tomorrow. We both liked Hoopla. What do you like about Hoopla?
Yeah, Hoopla getting back to the dirt again. This horse, the first time on the turf from Mott when this horse was claimed. I mean, that race is competitive. Ran against much better coming back in the starter against Risk Profile and even Red Paul Rocks.
Well, he's also wide off the good rail.
I mean,
And he's a logical horse. You
Yeah.
have to hope the apprentice goes. Aren't you a little worried that American Gentleman could go also? I know the horse seems
Yeah,
kind
I
of like out
mean-
of form, but he's got some back form. I want the two horses that are forward in here. I want the 2 and 4. I feel like one of those horses will be the speed.
That was my worry with him, that he's kind of out of form. I mean, his last 2 races.
Maybe the
he's
drop will
tailed
help
off.
him.
Maybe the drop will help.
I
yeah.
mean, you've got Cousin Andrew second. I've got him third. You want to bet Peter Walder horses
No,
here? Right.
I don't.
Right. You want to bet Scotty? You want to bet
No.
Litterbox? I guess Litterbox is in good form. I'll give him that. You want Matty's Marauder? You know, so there aren't that many other places to go. I'm surprised you don't have the 4 anywhere in the top 4. I think that the 4 is the interesting. Probably should have gone 4-2 with you picking the 2 just to give another horse. Because, I don't know,
I think you've made enough of a case for the horse. I think you've got your point across.
yeah,
for
I
the
mean, I
horse.
just think that to me, I look at this race and I don't want anybody, and I think that's why we picked Hoopla. We could make
It's
a little
part of the
case for
reason.
him, and you just don't want to bet anybody else.
I mean, he has a race on his card, and I know Cousin Andrew has a couple of races that are a point. a tick
Ex-Chad
faster,
Brown
but-
horse. Do you think his Fort Klein is going
No,
to go
not
that
at
way,
all.
that way, or that way?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I don't disagree. And like you said, the horse that's kind of in form right now is Litterbox. Maybe he
yeah,
can
no,
take
I agree.
advantage.
He's actually in form. I mean,
Yeah.
you shouldn't really knock him. He's in good form.
Gary's
The thing
still looking for 1,000, I believe, right? Yeah.
where do you think he's looking for it? The thing about Cousin Andrew also is even when he broke his maiden, he really didn't run very well. He got a great ride by Javier that day, splitting horses and doing. I mean, he beat Mach 1, who will maybe still be a maiden after today's first race at
Right.
odds on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this. I saw this as more of a process of elimination race. I think you did too. I just extended it to the 4 as well as the 2.
Yeah.
Race number 8. I thought race number 8 was an interesting race. You have Gabby squared second. I have her third. Let's show a race at Monmouth. I got to tell you something. You're just supposed to bet against Gabby squared in this race. She's just not much horse. I mean, I know she won this race. You really need to take a good look at the horses she was running against at Monmouth. Now, I don't disagree. There ain't a lot going on in this race. And it should be noted that Summer in the City gets in. Her career could be over based on her last race, but she does have races that put her in there. I didn't put her in the top 4, but I guess I could have with the scratch of
I have a
getting her
4th.
in. This horse can win, but she's got all the accoutrements to be dramatically overbet here, and she's just not very good.
Well, this was one where I did listen to your advice. The betting horses off wins, because it's a terrible win at 2-5 at Monmouth Park. And they're going to, it's Chad Brown. They see Chad Brown, Joel Rosario. The horse
Awful
is
win.
9-5 in the morning line
Well,
already.
I wonder a little about the morning line. I actually meant to ask David because he also has the 11 2-1. And it's not like him to go 9-5, 2-1 with a 3-1 in a big field. So I wonder if the 11 was sort of a hedge. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
the 11
maybe.
doesn't get in, you're going to see 9-5 and 3-1. You follow, and I don't know if that's the case, but it's a difficult. I don't know how exactly David approached that. It's a difficult thing this morning line. What do you do when a horse you think could be favored is on the AEs? Do you make it a short price and risk
You do
the
what he did.
idea of?
I think you do what he did.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a great morning line maker. I'd be the worst, but I don't know that he would have made this horse 9-5 if he knew that horse was getting
Maybe
in.
you're right. Maybe 2-1, 5-2, something like
We
that.
should mention someone. How you take a short price horse? Breaks from a lousy post. I know it's Todd Pletcher.
I put the horse 4th.
She did
just-
have an excuse last time, but wasn't her form just going the wrong way
Yes.
to begin with?
Yeah.
Her race before that was atrocious.
But like you said, Andy, there's really not
no,
a lot
no,
going on in here.
there's not. So why did you like the 2 Athena Dancer?
I'm hoping Athena Dancer just wants to stretch out. They dropped the horse in last time.
Is this a barn that told you they think it's going
No,
to stretch
no,
out?
no, no. I'm just. I mean, this horse
Why
is a
would you
war
think the
dancer
horse-
out of a Cadianis mare. I mean, this horse. If you look
But
at
they
this
ran the
horse,
horse 5 times.
I am
sprinting on the turf.
very well aware. And this is a little bit of a guess for me. I figure this horse will get lost in the shuffle a little bit and be all of the 6-1. I didn't want to pick Gabby squared. I didn't want to pick Summer in the City. There's another kind of process of kind of a process of attrition here. I just wanted a horse that maybe had a little chance to, at the very least, she's doing something new today. And the rest of them are the same.
I've got
you
her
know?
second. She's been atrocious.
Her last
And
two
I don't
races
have
have
any
been awful.
confidence she can run at all.
You
And
might
it's
be
very hard
right.
to take a horse that's going long for the first time, and it feels like they're just throwing up their hands and saying, we got to try something new, and this is not a winning barn in the turf. Having said that, it's more dirt, but her pedigree in the dam side, first and second generation, is all distance. So there is enough pedigree to suggest from both broodmares, and obviously War Dancer as well, that this horse could be better going longer. So I don't think she's worth throwing in. I just think Freedom Machine is the best horse in the race. I mean, You look at her last race, she actually ran well in that race. That race was completely falling apart at the end. It's not that bad a field. She had some real trips up at Saratoga, wide against a gold rail 2 races back. Trip steadied badly, though the race fell apart 3 back. She's actually in sneaky decent form, better form, I think, than her races show, and I think she's the horse to beat in this race, and I like her chances. I'll use the 2. I was just wondering your thought process, and I don't disagree with you. I think she's a little interesting stretching out. David Ergon just texted me. He said that there'll be bigger prices. He said the numbers, obviously, you do the math. They didn't.
Right.
They don't add up. There's nothing you can do when you have an AE situation like that. So obviously the morning line is not really there. I don't know what he'd make them, but maybe he'd make them 3-1 and 7-2 and 4-1 or something. Something like that. But
I don't really see anybody. I mean, it's.
I don't know where else to go. In
that's
this
what.
race.
I don't think the
agree.
public will either. So I think the money will be focused on
6, 7, 11. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. No, it's very. I mean, Cherokee Song, I guess, has some races that are fast enough to get a little bit of a shot. So that'll take a little bit of money. I think
guess.
a similar amount of money to Athena Dancer. I think that 2 similar amounts. And I'd actually, in a way, Cherokee Song is supposed to take more because the horse at least has experience going longer, though is 1 for 27. If there's a sneak in here and you find him,
you
more
deserve to
power
get paid.
you.
Yes, agree.
One thing I knew, there were a couple things I knew here. I knew you'd like Clear Vision, and I know you got to like Quantitative Breezing. As we go to race 9, that was a segue, Francisco. I miss Nathan, don't you? No, I really do. I mean, Nathan would. He didn't even go to the picks.
No.
We
Well,
don't even, did you pick?
Called,
did you pick?
called Quantitative
No,
Breezing.
I wanted to see the picks first. Did you pick?
Of course I
you
did.
love a horse off a gold rail, bias aided. The other speed didn't break. I mean, talk about a horse that's dressed up to the nines. You found it, buddy.
Andy.
You're supposed to bet against this horse.
Okay, and who am I supposed to bet against the horse with?
Somebody.
No, I can't do that in here. I can't do that here.
You're supposed to.
I can't do that
You're
here.
supposed to. Sorry.
I can't do it.
Really?
I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Believe me.
I know. You love these horses all dressed up. Perfect.
What is
setup.
that?
You
What
just
is that?
love it.
What is
You
that
are
voice?
the king of betting
What
picking
is that
horses
voice?
that are completely and totally dressed up. You love this.
You're such a
do.
sick
This
individual.
horse, you are.
What about the race 2 back? The race 2 back beats this field. Come on, Andy.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Horse is off a claim. Maybe the horse got good for Antonio Arriaga and won't run as well for Jeffrey
Maybe he
Englehart.
did. Maybe you could be 100% right.
No.
Maybe he did.
Anthony, let's backtrack.
You are 100% I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's just
Every now and then it's one falls
no,
through the cracks,
98,
folks.
there's 98.
Yeah, 98,
right?
98 degrees.
But never less than 98. Don't you forget that.
unbelievable. You're
I hear you.
unbelievable.
I hear you. I'm teasing you. She's a good horse to bet against. She's completely dressed up. I picked her second, Anthony. It's not so
Yeah, I mean-
I'm not taking a big stand against her. I just feel these are horses I'm always going to find an alternative, dressed up by a gold rail.
Well, you have an alternative. You have a built-in
I
alternative.
got my main man.
I don't.
Dennis Lallman.
Wait, hold on a minute. Is there a Bonnie Luke? No, there's no Wayne Potts in here, so I just took the favorite.
Yeah, they let you down.
No Chad, no
They
Wayne
let you
Potts,
down.
yeah.
No Wayne Potts,
no Rudy.
no Chad, no Rudy.
Yeah, I had no defaults.
Yeah, you
no
really,
default. I
all,
actually
your,
had
all
a-
your
I had
defaults
to
were
do
out.
something
Where's
wild.
Rudy? I isn't running any horses these days. Getting ready for Bella Sofia. Let me ask you a funny question.
She breezed yesterday.
This
I
can't be
believe.
Rudy's first Breeders' Cup horse, is it?
I have
can't.
to imagine. I have to imagine Condo Commando or one of those horses ran. Right?
I don't know.
Maybe.
It's hard to imagine he hasn't. It's kind of
Maybe.
exciting. Certainly the best one he's had a chance with.
Well, she's going to be the second choice, right?
Well, I think it's a 4-horse field.
All kidding aside, Michael Imperial and Rudy, I think they said there's 5 or 6 in the race.
Well, there'll be more.
Wisconsin staying
They're
home.
not shipping. It's expensive to ship.
Yeah.
The horse that I don't understand that I heard wasn't running that I don't get is Obligatory. She ran really well in the Cotillion.
And it's 7/8.
So unless she's hurt, she ran so well cutting back when she cut
Sure.
back to win at Churchill.
When she won the 8 bells,
Right.
and she's going to get a pace.
She's cutting back. Well, who knows if she got a pace? This is a different discussion. But forgetting about that, I
That's weird.
now maybe there's an issue with her.
Right.
But my gosh, I mean, she'd
That's
probably be third
that's
choice,
strange.
wouldn't she?
I would. I mean, unless
I don't know. I thought it was
unless
very-
one of those Kentucky.
I mean, I was trying to
fillies.
make 3-year-old fillies. I mean, Clairiere just doesn't feel like a great turn back candidate.
She's a little too slow, I think.
slow, and you know I love a turn back.
Yep, she's a
Trying
little
to
too
think of
slow.
them, search parties on the shelf. So they're just because it feels like a good race to turn a horse back.
I don't disagree with you.
I mean, what about the older? I mean, is there any older horses you look and you go, you know, you can't win this race, probably against Latruska.
They'll
Not that
do
she,
like a CC, well, maybe a
well,
CC.
CC must be
will run.
running in here.
Yeah, I would
I'm sure
imagine,
CC's running, right?
The other filly got hurt too, Venetian Harbor. She's retired, so.
Well, she ran so badly at
Yeah, but I mean, I'm
Kentucky
talking about
Downs
just
that something clearly went
a
wrong
body,
that day.
a body in the field.
Right, but she ran so
Yeah.
badly. She was clearly something was wrong. As far as Mosienko, the race 3 back gives her a chance in here. Okay, I don't care what she did in the turf. In her next race, I don't know what happened last time. I watched the race. I will say it was a day the rail was good. It was an edge. I wouldn't say it was a gold rail, but I think it was an advantage. And she was 4 to 5 wide in there, so she did get compromised a bit. I got nowhere else to go, and it is Dennis Laumann, and she had a little bit of an excuse last time. And her race on July 5th is a 69 buyer, which puts her in line of quantitative breezing in this race, throwing out the bias-aided race last time.
I want to point something out to you
What?
that you may want to keep an eye on here.
I'm ready.
Her race last time, when you don't have an excuse, took her off Lasix. She's off Lasix again today.
Ooh.
I'd keep an eye on that.
Ooh.
That's weird.
Ooh. Ooh. So he knows she was off LASIK last time. Esatika, I don't know. I know, listen, she had trouble after she broke 3/4 of a length slow last time, so she wasn't in her rhythm. The problem is that her win is completely bias-aided as well. On a big speed track, it's not very good. I've got her third because I got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I put her fourth.
You'd be a star. She was second by default. You're going to take all the Noda horses. There's no evidence the Noda's run any kind of run here. They've had a couple of big performances, but mostly
you're
they've been
right.
pretty quiet.
But again, I had nowhere really to go.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I think I got the horse fourth.
Horse ran second off the layoff, first time for the barn last time. To a runaway winner. I mean,
it's a very hard race to
Yeah.
find a lot of reasons. Race number 10. A lot of speed in here, which is going to hurt this horse. We'll show you Escape with Friends and New York Dancer, the first 3/8 of a mile or a quarter mile in their last race. Escape with Friends doesn't break, and then she just totally takes herself out of the race. Perhaps Vroom Vroom can get her a little bit more into the race and get her out of the gate. Just think about making that turn. You're getting in there. Listen, she didn't run last time, but once she had that start and just completely dropped out of the race, maybe she can't run anymore. I don't know. Her other turf sprints are too good to leave her out. I don't know what to do. And I just thought New York Dancer, who, also had some trouble, was steadied in that race. She ran okay, but isn't she just going to take too much money?
I have Sucker printed across my forehead. I took
picked her second. I gotcha.
I off that race, you know what I mean? It just looks like she made up enough ground late. She gets the extra furlong. I know that doesn't always work, but and like I said, this could be Sucker written all over it. But I thought
I was
made some
dying to
sense
pick
today.
Incontrovertible for Ned Howard, but this horse's one turf race was an absolute stinker. I mean, I respect Ned Howard, though he is 0 for 9 off trainer switches on the turf with one hitting the board. But he does seem to ship here with a purpose. But the horse is a New York bred, so why wouldn't he ship here? The horse that you have second here and I have fourth. Go ahead about Phenomenal
It's
Woman.
a drop down from an open company race at Gulfstream in the winter. Gets Lasix, cuts back, gets New York breds. Listen, I don't know what kind of trip this horse is going to pull. I just know that this horse is getting a tremendous amount of class relief. Andy, this is not the toughest maiden 40 she's going to find
didn't
either.
do a stitch of running.
She didn't.
She also
She didn't do
didn't
any
lose
running.
by 4 lengths in there, but she lost by about 5.5 lengths for what it's worth. She has no turf pedigree. The Dam couldn't run on the grass. Bucho Macho Man's not a turf sire. She's produced 5 horses to try a turf. They've all lost. I'm wondering why Christophe is running this
She's
horse
back
in the
on
dirt.
the turf. With
Yeah.
all of that said, she's back on the turf. I don't know.
I mean, obviously you have to include her, but she's going to get bet just because, and I think she's more likely to just not be able to run than anything else in here. Any chance that New York Banker wires the field?
Sure.
Horse has only one turf race.
Yeah.
Wasn't good, but fortunately, that replay is not available. Notice
Yeah,
the
I
final
mean-
16th is helpful.
Unless Barrel of Bliss has a rocket booster attached, who's supposed to be within earshot of this horse early?
She's in front, and Barrel Bliss is the second
But
one.
she's just not trustable. She's not trustworthy.
Well, but maybe she's the speed. I don't
Maybe
know.
she's the speed.
I had trouble making anybody else. It was a tough race to close it out.
Wonder if Roxon, the infamous 5th pick, I wonder if Roxon could be a little bit closer. I don't know.
She could be.
Maybe.
I don't think she has much
Right,
speed.
we
but
talked
she
about
could.
it earlier in the stakes.
Intention. It's a
experiment.
question of
Yeah,
intention.
So maybe some intent to be
So
aggressive.
much the riding.
protect
is,
the rail.
So much the riding is so dependent on what the decisions that are made, and the decisions are awfully random,
Yes, sir.
like turning into the gate 5. Anyhow, that's it. Looking forward to the card today. Thank you very much. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Yes. We'll do
Head
it
over to
again tomorrow.
NyraBets if you're not a member of NyraBets. No better time than the present. Use the promo code CUP25. Become a member of NyraBets. Support racing in New York, and more importantly, keep the money in the game.
Cup runneth over.
What else do we have here? We have a 20% exacta bonus. Don't want to forget that.
You killed it last week.
I did. I don't know, I killed it. I maximized it, I think.
That's killing it.
Opt in for that. It's your 20% bonus. Hey, listen, it's free money. If you hit exactas, it's free money. Don't shake your head at that. Also, we've got a cross-country Big Five. Anthony is betting his entire bankroll in this.
Shoving. All in.
I think you're in an all by all by all by all.
All in. I told you.
Good for news for you. There's only 4 in the third.
Oh, good. Okay.
Grand National. I used to watch the Grand National. My grandmother when they used to show it. I think in the old OTB network in New York. That's 3 at Far Hills, which will be showing on America's Day of the Races. Speaking of America's Day of the Races, 12:30 to 3:30 in FS2. The rest will be cut 4:30 to 5:30 in SNY. People have SNY or people locally. There won't be any Mets pregame stuff, unfortunately.
There was no reason for. There was no need for that.
I love the Mets. Who?
There's no reason to bring it up. Just
3:30.
let it-
Well,
just
will
leave
be
it
on
alone.
YouTube. You can watch it on the YouTube channel. Don't fret. I've followed the Mets
know.
probably longer than you.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh. Disappointing.
Talking about Carlos Correa maybe playing third base next year. There'll be some infield. Correa, Lindor, Baez, and Alonso.
Maybe they can get a payroll like the Dodgers and buy themselves into a championship. It's always fun to root for teams to buy championships.
What are you gonna do?
That's why
A wise man once told me the answer is money, Andy. Now, what's the question?
money doesn't win in baseball.
No, I
money
don't-
is,
I don't
money is
disagree,
proven
but
to generally not win in baseball.
people
so
do
you can
think
try to
that.
do it, but overall, it's when you look at success of some of these, look at the success of the Giants this year, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. Johnny I up next. The reprise, the scratches and changes. Have a great day.